So here's a pretty entertaining revenge story about a guy who found an extremely creative way to get even with his girlfriend after he found out that she was hooking up with his so-called best friend. And you're also going to see in the story, guys, that this gal really was demonstrating her not so attractive true colors pretty early on, except this guy obviously was too weak or stupid or both to end it with her. And it's a perfect example why I say all the time, guys, you don't have your girlfriend move in with you. And the only way you would do it is if you're going to marry her, and it was like the final test. And if she's showing all signs of disrespect or using you, get rid of her. Titled, My Girlfriend Cheated with My Best Friend. He says, background here. I'm 25 years old, and I moved to the U.S. from the U.K. 7 years ago. I now have dual nationality. Okay, so he moved here when he was 18. I was dating a girl for almost 2 years. At first, the relationship was great. They all say that. But after she moved in, she quit her job, didn't do anything to help out around the house, got a DUI, and pretty much leeched off me for months. There you go. Why move in with her after 2 years? Are you out of your mind? Well, unless that was a final test to see if you were going to marry her or something like that, there's no other reason to do that. And right there, look at it like that. Quit her job, didn't do anything to help out, big slob, DUI. She's a loser. Fast forward to May of 2023. I was ready to kick her out at this point. She would constantly beg me not to and say how much she needed me and threaten to off herself on a daily basis. But the problem was my childhood best friend was coming to visit for 2 weeks, a trip we had planned for a year prior. My girlfriend agreed we'd sort out everything after he went back home so I could enjoy the time with my friend, which I haven't seen in 5 years. Dude, who cares if your friend's coming? You can have a better time without her there. Kick her out. And if there's legal issues like, you've been living with her for a little while now and you couldn't get her out or something along those lines, okay, then it's time to maybe you look for a new place and you let the lease run out. Something to get rid of her. But he stayed with her. My friend stays with us in the spare bedroom at my house for 2 weeks. First week was good and all three of us had a good time. Unfortunately, I could only get 1 week off of work, so the second week I worked while they stayed home. Yeah, you're working to pay all the bills for you and support her, and they're out having fun. Dude, what the hell? The red flags started appearing when they started going to places while I was working. Places that me and my friend had planned on going, like sporting events and traveling, etc. He would choose to do stuff with her over me all of a sudden, and they were acting super suspicious constantly. Looks like she's finding her next victim here. So much for bros before you know what. Evidence came undeniable when I saw my girlfriend's lingerie on the floor when I came home early when I found it. She knows what she's doing. They weren't home and I called him on the phone and asked him, "Do you want to tell me what's up with you? Because I'm not stupid." He instantly replies, "Have you been spying on us?" That was all I needed. Girlfriend messages me saying, "We're staying at my mom's house for the night. We'll be back tomorrow for my stuff." See? She was finding the next sucker. And at this point, since he was going to kick her out anyway, I'd be like, she's all yours. And thank you for getting rid of her. Thank you for taking her away from me. And thank you for showing me your true colors, because you certainly aren't my friend. And believe me, the joke's on him because he's going to be dealing with her. He says, "You may call me petty for this. Not on this channel. But if you could experience my emotions at that point, you would do the same. I spent the next 6 hours throwing out every single one of her possessions. She never cleaned her cat's litter boxes, so I shoved them in the trunk of her car at the bottom and then shoved all her clothes and items on top of the litter box until the car was filled to the top. Any door you would open would result in an avalanche of dirty clothes, boxes of random stuff, and cat crap. When the car was filled, the rest was thrown on the ground in a pile and got rained on, and I texted her one last time telling her to grab her stuff ASAP and do not come to the house as it will be locked. Luckily, she didn't have a key at this point." Holy crap, that is hilarious. Now I gotta say, as a cat person here, that is despicable. These very dirty, full litter boxes, you gotta change those things every day if you have a cat or cats, and thoroughly change the whole thing and scrub them out every few weeks. Come on here. Yeah, I take this, when it comes to bad animal care, I take it personally. I blocked them both on pretty much everything. I left a note in her car simply saying, "Do not contact me ever again." I canceled her phone line and reported her phone as lost and stolen so that the phone or number could never be used again. And he says I was paying for both of those, of course. Smack. I should have smacked him earlier, but it's Sunday. I'm kind of tired here. Why in God's name were you paying for all that? I mean, she really did one on you to convince you to keep paying for all this time. I didn't get to see the reaction when they pulled up to her car the next day, and I really wish I did. So would we. I was so exhausted from the night before I slept all day. When I woke up, everything on the ground was gone, but her car with all her stuff was still there. Anybody else wondering about the cats? He said he got everything out of her apartment and the litter boxes, but where are the cats? Well, I find out later on, actually, that the cats were outdoor cats, so they were just outside, and she got them right away. But anyhow, she didn't put them in the car. 2 weeks passed, and the car is still there. Dude, I'd have it towed. Is this on your property? I would laugh anytime I look at it, thinking about when the car door first opens and the smelly avalanche that follows. Unfortunately, I never witnessed her pick up the car. I got home from work one day and it was gone. If you're wondering how I got my revenge on the dude, he was living with his girlfriend and their kid back in the UK. I knew that he would spend every waking moment full of anxiety, waiting for me to tell him telling his girlfriend everything that happened. That's actually better than telling her right away. Just let him wonder and be freaking out about this whole thing. Mess with his mind. Some time had passed. Haven't talked to him either of them ever since then, and still had them blocked. All of a sudden, I'm getting messages from his friends from the UK asking me if I'm okay. It turns out this dude was bragging to all his friends about how he was effing his best friend's girl behind his back. They all asked me for the real story, since this dude couldn't get his story straight. I told him what happened, that information reached his girlfriend, and he ended up getting kicked out. No one has heard from him ever since. Could have happened to a nicer guy. But this guy's going around bragging to his friends that he was doing his so-called best friend's girl back in the U.S. while he was here. I mean, how stupid can you be? Because they're all going to think, dude, you're a scumbag. And what's going to stop you from trying to go after my girlfriend or wife? Seriously. As for my ex, well, I heard she moved in with her mom in some tiny room on an air mattress with her 3 cats that crapped literally everywhere. That's going to happen when assholes like her don't change their litter box every day. No job, no money, and a few days later, before I kicked her out, she had to go to court and was handed 6 months probation for her DUI. I have no patience for people that drink and drive. As for me, most of my problems disappeared since most of them were in some way created by my ex. Shocker. I did get therapy to help cope with the betrayal. It's been 6 months now. I finally started my own business, and I can finally say I found true happiness. It really is a beautiful thing to watch karma kick in for bad people. You're darn right it is, bro, and that is awesome. I'm sorry that happened to this guy, but I hope he learns his lesson not to let himself be taken advantage of by that. But you know what? It's probably not the first time, because his friend did that to him. This girl did that to him. You better be careful and learn to correct his mistakes, or he'll end up with a girlfriend in the future that'll do the same damn thing. She doesn't have I'm sure they moved in together with the idea that, yeah, she's going to have a job and contribute. Not to mention clean up after her and do the litter boxes for cats or pet care or whatever. And he just let it happen. And I don't know how long she was living with him, but obviously long enough. You can't do that, guys. There are people in this world that are just leeches, and they will use people. They'll never stop. So I'm glad he's doing well, but hopefully he learns from this whole thing. But anyhow, pretty good revenge story.